The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 81 of The Daily Mother Swole. This is a little bit of a continuation from yesterday. Who am I kidding? This is a direct continuation because we're talking about deltoids getting massive. I talked about the importance of shoulders yesterday. Today, I'm going to talk about getting massive shoulders, what exercises are the best, and I'm going to talk about my deltoids, aptly named Everest and K2. Because they're so freaking huge. Mine aren't boulders, they're mountains. And they're not just mountains, they're like the biggest ones. Understand? Yeah, you got that. Gather it, swallow it, keep in your tummy where it's warm. To get big shoulders, you can manipulate the weight a little bit. You're going to go heavy weight in lower reps, but you're also going to want to flush the muscle in the area full of blood and target those endurance fibers. For example, military press, I haven't done a lot of overhead pressing in a long time just because of, inflammation or things in my shoulder over, months or years. Just avoid them in general, but I'm a big fan of dumbbell overhead pressing, not so much with a bar, because a bar locks you into position. I sometimes do front raises, but usually when I do shoulders, I usually mostly only do side and rear. I allow the front to kind of take care of itself with chest, and I might hit it a little bit isolated, but generally I'm working on the side and the rear. So a lot of dumbbell work, and the reason why I do a lot of dumbbell work is because of the freedom, the angle of the exercise. The angle that I'm able to hit with a dumbbell is better than a barbell in general. Sometimes an easy curl bar, the bent bar, or a straight bar is nice for like an upright row, and that's okay. Upright rows are great. I usually grab a little bit wider. I don't go super narrow. It depends on if you have any pain or any, where you feel that the impact, where you feel the pressure, where you feel the result, where you feel the activity. Keep your hands a little bit more on the close side if you want, but just keep the bar close to the body. Don't go too far away. And I'm not a huge fan of going all the way up like this. If you make a V and you bring your elbows up above your shoulder height, you get a lot more of the upper trap. So try playing around with the width, go a little bit wider, and don't bring it up so far. Bring it up to like nipple height. That's a really great way to get the medial and the posterior head. When you're doing posterior deltoid, you could do a couple different things. You could do things like a posterior dumbbell fly, and you could also do things with a bar or dumbbells like a row fashion. And let me explain. You can get on back machines. So there are certain things like back machines that could be beneficial, or doing a incline bench and leaning on your stomach and doing a row and doing a pull like this. Okay, pulling all the way back until your humerus gets about 90 degrees. And that will hit a lot of the posterior deltoid. Now, you're really only getting the posterior deltoid right about 45 degrees to 90 degrees straight across, or 180 degrees. Once you start going behind your midline and pulling your shoulders back, you're not getting the posterior deltoid. You are a little bit. If there's tension, you're getting an isometric, but you're getting rhomboids and middle trap. Face pulls, I never do those. Face pulls are all right. I mean, people go like this, and they externally rotate a lot. You got to be careful with those because it hits the rotator cuff a lot more than the posterior deltoid. You get posterior deltoid work with external rotation, but I like it better if you're doing prone. I like a little bit better the dumbbell work against gravity, and I also like the cable cross. You could be bent over, doing cable cross, pulling away. Just when you're doing the posterior deltoid, think about this. Keep the humerus at about 90-degree angle. Keep it further away. Otherwise, you're going to be isolating. You're going to get the triceps. You're going to get the lats a little bit more. Face pulls are good. Just keep your elbows high and go lighter in the weight. That's one of those exercises that when the rotator cuff is very much involved, when you're isolating small muscle groups, be careful with resistance. A lot of times people throw on way too much weight, not on just big compound exercises, but a lot of smaller isolated movements. then when you start cheating, when you start swinging, it becomes a lot greater of a risk for those smaller muscle groups or for those like rotator cuff, those stabilizers to get hurt. So if you're doing, let's say, a face pull and you're throwing too much weight and you're yanking, you're at a much greater risk of injuring your rotator cuff than, for example, if you're arching your back a little bit on a bench press, because chances are you're using so many more muscles for a bench press, you're using so many more larger muscle groups for a bench press, it might not be under the same load. And, strike what I just said. That's not true. You could hurt your shoulder doing a bench press even if it's light. My point is, if you're doing an isolated movement, eliminate the swing, just to rephrase it, eliminate the swing so you can hit that muscle isolated. What I really meant to say was if you're doing a bench press, you're using multiple joints, using multiple muscles. If you're doing something like a face pull, you're still using multiple muscles, but you're focusing a lot more on an isolation type movement. You're not doing a back row. You're doing like a limited range of motion with a certain position to hit the posterior deltoid specifically, like a chest fly for chest. So you really, there's less of a point to cheat. If you're doing a barbell curl or a bench press, I understand why some might arch their back to try to get the weight up. You're just straining multiple muscles at the same time to produce force to overcome a resistance. When you're doing an isolation, you really need form even more. And I want to make this really clear. I'm not saying that form isn't epitome and isn't absolutely essential for every exercise, but when you're focusing on isolation, how you do that isolation exercise is ever more important. There's like an exclamation point. It's bold. It's underlined. There's a strike through. If you think about it like that, you really are putting a focus on that part. So if you're not doing it perfectly right, you're not isolating the muscle. You're not doing an integrated movement. You're focusing on that one spot. So you really make sure you're doing it correctly. Some other good strategies for shoulders, you could do heavy weight and then do drop sets. So you could do, for example, you could do drop sets, heavier sets, and then lighter weight for higher reps at the end. Any other exercise for lateral head other than side? Not really. Anyone that's telling you otherwise, kind of like, it's work during everything, but side raises, a couple different angles on the side raise. You could do dumbbell 2-arm. You could do a little bit of a lean against a bench, and get a little bit more on that abduction aspect if you're leaning and doing a single arm. You could do it with a cable, which will have a different, like a moment arm, a different point of where the tension occurs. Usually with the side or the medial head, where I was going to get to after. So, you led me into this anyway, so thank you for a good question. When you're doing the side, the lateral head, one of the really only ways you can, we're getting there. That was the next thing I was going to talk about, was like the different things for the side and the rear. When you're focusing on the side, you can really only do or change or manipulate. How many different ways can you do this? None. That's it. What you can do is change where the tension initiates. So if you're standing here with dumbbells, as you push up, it's heavy, you're weaker at the bottom, and the weight is more, let's say, more challenging at the top because the torque is further away, right? The lever arm is longer, so if the weight's further away from your body, it's heavier. Agreed? That being said, if you were to lie on your side, and this is a famous classic exercise that most people don't do. I love it. You don't go that heavy. You lie on your side on a low incline, and then you raise up until your arm is vertical with the ground. So you're lying on an actual incline bench going sideways. And next time I do a shoulder workout on my Periscope, you'll see this. And who knows, I might do some shoulders today. I might throw that in there for today's workout. The weight is then lightest at the top, because then when you're vertical or almost vertical, the weight is just compacted through your arm, so there's no resistance. The resistance all of a sudden gets loaded at the bottom. So where the pressure is during the movement changes. So you can do that for shoulders. You could do that for deltoids, for the medial. You could do the cables, which will change because the whole motion, the stack just goes up and down, which means it's evenly, the acceleration against gravity is the same, or acceleration with gravity is the same. The only thing that's different is like the dumbbell, and it has to do with like how far away it is. That's why a lot of people, when they do dumbbell side raises, if you notice, they go really heavy and they go short, they bend their arm, because it's easier. It's easier. If you bring the weight close to the body, there's less torque, and it's easier to raise the weight. Whereas they should be dropping the weight, keeping their arms more straight, And, you actually risk less injury because would you rather grab 40s and just kind of swing with your arms really bent, or grab 20s and drive up and then lower down slowly? I get a sick pump, and I don't do a lot of weight for shoulders. You don't need a ton of weight. I mean, you can do a lot of weight and you can work your way up, but it's only relative to what the muscle's doing. Is a press really needed for shoulders? Depends on what you mean by need. What do you want? What does your body react to? Do you need to do a press for anterior deltoid? No, you can do a front raise. You can do a front raise and isolate the front anterior deltoid great, and do a little bit of come towards the midline and get both actions of the shoulder. The anterior deltoid does shoulder flexion and also does a little bit of adduction towards the midline of the body. So if you come up and go across a little bit, it's great for the anterior deltoid. At the same time, if you have shoulder impingement or you have any kind of upper cross syndrome, if you come across, you could exacerbate that and get some inflammation in your shoulder. I'm always very hesitant to give advice on shoulders over, the phone, or just telling people, yeah, do this, because presses aren't bad, but most people have shoulder problems. That's what I'm saying. And most of you have shoulder problems that aren't problems yet. You don't have the inflammation yet. So you have rounded shoulders. You have imbalances in the shoulder joint. You just haven't gotten to that inflammation point yet where you're like, oh my God, ouch, this hurts. So I'm very hesitant to the shoulders are so, it's just so sensitive because we're always on our phone rounded. We're always at a desk typing. We're always in the car driving. We're very imbalanced. That's why whenever I do shoulders, I don't want to say ignore, but I almost ignore the front. When I do shoulders, anytime I hit shoulders or I focus on going for shoulders, you'll never see me starting with front raise or shoulder press ever. I'll start with side raise or I'll start with real deltoid. That's what I do. I start with those isolation. I start getting those areas pumped first. I start with external rotations. I start doing posterior rotator cuff. I start with those weaker areas that are classically undertrained, that classically don't get a lot of impact, that classically aren't activated enough to create that balance before I even think about touching anterior. And I usually just burn out at the end, and I'll fry it out and I'll have a good pump and it'll be great. But most of my energy, most of my stress is based on the posterior and the side. And plus, you get a lot of front when you're doing shoulder press. You really do. You really do. So I'm really big on isolation, more so than compound. Did you already do the live workout today? No. I'll probably do that either this evening. I'll probably do it this afternoon because the gym's usually more empty in the afternoon. And I've been trying to make a habit of going in the afternoon more than at night because I like working out during the day better than in the evening late at night. I kind of do both, but tonight I'd be working out at 8:30 at night and I don't want to be there till 9:30, 10. I'd rather get it done now. Chest press, a lot of front delt too. So yeah, I was actually going to do a little bit of a poll. I was going to post something up there on Snapchat saying, tell me what to do today. What workout should I be doing today? And I think I'm going to do, I don't know what I should do today. What should I work out for my live workout? That's great info for shoulder. That's about it. I might do some chest. Maybe I'll do some chest and shoulders. I haven't done that in a while. I'm not really, I just feel like that's so much. Yeah, I'll do chest and I'll do side and rear. And that'll be a good cut. That'll be a good talking point. I could do back. See, it's hard for me even to decide before I go. I usually go and be like, yeah, I'll do chest. Arms, yeah. No, but I mean, chest has always been I really want to keep on working on my chest. But I did chest and chest and arms or chest and biceps in one of the other videos. I haven't done a back one yet. So maybe, even though I want to do chest, maybe I'll do back. We'll see. But I am going to, in the live workout, I will also be doing some external rotations. And I like the live format. So you don't have scheduled days. You just do whatever you feel. I have scheduled days. I mean, kind of. I don't do legs 2 days in a row. I try not to do upper body 2 days in a row if I can help it. Otherwise, I do opposing body parts, of course. Just because I'm more advanced, I don't recommend people doing 2 upper body days in a row unless they've been training for a long time. And it depends on the volume too. But I have workout days. Today I'm working out. Yesterday I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, so I'm I'm not going to work out today. I'm just going to chill and go a high-fat diet, drop the carbs, and just, recover and get some better sleep tonight, which I did. I still might take a 15-minute power nap. But I used to have scheduled days. I used to write down my workouts ahead of time. I used to be really meticulous and plan it out. But now I like a lot more instinctual training. I don't like planning exercise especially. Sometimes I know what I'm doing, but I don't like planning the exercises because you get to the gym and then all the racks are taken. If you could do 2 legs 2 days in a row, you didn't do legs right the first time around. Yeah, dude, totally. Or a girl, I didn't see. Yeah, totally. If you do legs, my hamstrings and glutes from the live workout I did 2 days ago, wrecked. I could barely teach yoga this morning. I'm so sore, so I have to do some definitely foam rolling and stretching. But I will, when I do my, good question. Do you adjust your yoga sequence to complement your gym workout? Like when I do it private, like personally, I just do. Yeah, I mean, practice any kind of yoga. I don't necessarily always do a flow, like a whole yoga sequence, because I teach it a lot. I'll sometimes just do stretching. Stretching, yoga. It's kind of, I mean, it depends on how serious you take it or what you're doing it for. If you're doing it with like meditation music, that's nice. And I might do that later tonight. I might actually do that later tonight after I have some clients. So I will probably do my workout, come back, do some more videos, uploading and stuff like that. And then I'll have a client. And then afterwards, I might do some yoga and do some stretching. Maybe I'll do 2 live broadcasts. Maybe I'll do a live Periscope here in my living room and do like a live stretching. Well, I don't know. I like to focus on my stretching, so I probably won't do it live if I record it at all. I like to just put on certain music and I do my thing. So that probably won't happen. But stay tuned for all that. And make sure you follow me on Periscope. Just in general, Periscope, Busker's great. I usually do Busker for the Daily Swole because I only have that on my iPad, so I can't take that with me everywhere because it's only Wi-Fi. And Periscope, if you noticed, also on Facebook, just to give you guys updates, on Facebook, I'm starting to do Daily Swole recap. So if you missed the Daily Swole, you could check out my Facebook page, my main page, not premium, not my subscription service, but the main Swolenormous page, where I'll do like a minute or two, just a little summary, and I'll also link to the YouTube video once it's uploaded. That way, if you miss a Daily Swole, you can kind of get a little recap. And then if you want to watch, because sometimes you might not have 15, 20 minutes to watch the whole thing, but you could also check out you could also check out, if you want to listen to the Daily Swole or want the Daily Swole but you can't watch it, you don't have time to watch it, take Daily Swole in the gym with you. They're all on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. So you download the SoundCloud app, which I love, and all 81 episodes of the Daily Swole are on there. So you can check it out. You can go on and check out the podcast. I have people that listen to it when they mow their lawn, while they're at the gym. So check that out. Broadcast it. Give me feedback. If you have any questions on the videos, make sure you comment on YouTube. Post a comment on Facebook, send me a message on Snap, but I love the public comments on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook because other people get to see it and benefit, okay? So, thank you so much for joining for episode 81 of The Daily Swole. Make sure you check out YouTube for the videos I just posted. I posted a few raw videos, another driving while gaining. I'm going to post a couple more raw videos this afternoon as well. I'm almost at 300 videos. They're not all online, but there's like 295 or something like uploaded. So I'm super pumped. I'm trying to get more videos and more of the same. So raw, if you like the raw videos, make sure you comment on YouTube, share it. Definitely share those raw videos because a lot of times people just need that boost. I think a lot of people watch them, but I want you to share them. So if I post them on my Facebook page, for example, share the hell out of it. I'm going to post more of those raw videos on my main Facebook page. So if you want to share the video from my Facebook page, I really appreciate that. Get the word out. Definitely share those raw videos because that's definitely something that someone can easily like watch, absorb, and just boom, internalize and then shoot it out there. So I'll start posting some of the classics, probably random episodes from the Raw series, not necessarily in order. So all sorts of stuff. All right. Thank you so much for watching episode 81. I'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time for another Daily Mother Swole. Stay tuned later today for the live broadcast workout on Periscope, and make sure you also add me on Periscope and so forth for any random Q&As and stuff like that I do when I broadcast. All right, thank you so much for watching. Peace out. See you tomorrow.
Another.